All right, we are live again, and もう一度、今日は2月7日です。And welcome everybody to the Nanoka special. So, just a little bit earlier, we did a little special playthrough of the game that pretty much started it all in terms of my personal gaming journey. Now, in terms of like the first game that actually got me inspired to get into gaming, that would be a mixture of Star Fox, Super Mario Brothers 3, I believe, the one that was ripped off of Doki Doki Panic, and Star Fox, Echo the Dolphin, Super Mario Brothers 3, and Star Fox. And I played the SNES version of Star Fox on the channel before, several years ago. I might do it again down the line, but probably doing it. I feel like doing it again. There's a lot of games I actually feel like doing again on the channel, like I did it with Dandara. Dandara, it's not the first time that I actually tried to do the Trials of Fear again. I tried it last year and even the year before that, and I just couldn't figure out what I was supposed to do. Nor is my fear threshold that great back then. But now it's gotten a lot better, so I was able to handle it this time. And I think at the rate that I'm going with the game, since there's not that many areas that I have to explore left, I might actually be done before the month's even over. So I'm going to try and add some more games to the list at some point. Beyond Good and Evil is one of them, and Elsinore is another. So yeah, lots and lots and lots of catching up to do in terms of that front. / smooth jazz. That was weird. Okay. I did notice, I have like my monitor on the side here, and I did notice my stream cut for like a few seconds. But anyway, I just posted the music I'm currently listening to at this point of the stream. So yeah, anyways, today's going to be a very low-key card pull day. So yeah, looks like we got a bunch of viewers coming in, which is good. Thank you very much for coming over. Hello, Bunsfish. We are just getting started with our card reading stream today. Thank you for joining us tonight. So, as mentioned earlier, today is my half birthday. So I know people were weird, like, shouldn't you have said that when you were a child? No, I like celebrating myself sometimes. So it's okay. It's okay to celebrate yourself however many times you want to celebrate yourself. Just saying. But yeah, I started celebrating my half birthday when I was in elementary school because, well, by the time my actual birthday came around, it was going to be, well, summer vacation. Like, it was going to be like summer vacation. So a lot of people wouldn't have been able to celebrate the day of. Ooh, nice. But yeah, there's a lot that, like, when I was a summer birthday, because I'm a summer birthday, especially an early summer birthday, the odds are pretty good people were gonna like forget or just not able to celebrate it on the actual day. So that's how half birthdays started becoming a thing for students. That way everybody could actually celebrate their birthdays properly during the school year. So that was pretty cool. And then I started sticking with it for a while. And then eventually the day happened to be a proper day. And when I started doing blogs and eventually this YouTube and this Twitch channel. Now the Twitch channel actually started on July 7th. So since this year, I think this channel is turning 9 years old, I believe. I could make that Nanticoke special number 2, and then my actual birthday Nanticoke special number 3. So this year would be maybe like 3 Nanticoke specials that I could possibly do. Let me know if you think that's too much, but I would love to do that. And plus, I mean, number 2 will be numbers 2 and 3 will be happening in Japan if things pan out correctly. But we'll see. We will see. But yeah, the Nanticoke specials, I basically, so what you're wondering, why is it called Nanticoke special? Well, Nanticoke means the 7th day in Japanese, and that is true. That is true. People who have their birthday right around when school starts are also equally screwed over. I do agree with that. And other times that people get screwed over. New Year's and early summer, like early August, also kind of stinks. So 2 times a year where it's not the greatest to have a birthday in sometimes if you want to actually celebrate it. So and so yeah, like Hyun said, New Year's is hard because everybody's busy with the New Year to think about the ones having birthdays. And then in terms of ones who are in like the late summer, like around like early mid-August, people are broke from their summer vacations to even think of celebrating people's birthdays. Like, you gotta know, like, I wish I could tell you how many times my birthday's been mixed up with the day before or the day after a lot of time, because it was a lot easier to remember than what I actually have. So thus, the Nanticoke special was born. Because at least there's actually a cute name to it. But yeah, it usually happens twice a year, but this year it might be a three-peat. Because, well, I never really looked at it, but I looked at like when I started my Twitch channel, and I started the Twitch channel on July 7th, 9 years ago. Well, this year will make it 9 years. So I haven't even hit a decade on Twitch yet, which is kind of hard to believe, considering how long I've been on the site. But anyway. But yeah, I never stopped celebrating my half birthday. And I know some people tend to associate it with children's stuff. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just like, no matter which place you're in, sometimes in the calendar, but especially if you're close to like school year stuff, you're kind of screwed over. But who I really feel for are the leap year babies, because they're not celebrating their birthday on the actual day like 9 times out of 10. Like, you have to choose a date. Do they celebrate on the 28th or the 1st? Or March 1st? Which day is it? Leap years. Leap year kids. I feel for them. Oh my gosh. Like, being able to celebrate your birthday properly once every 4 years? Ugh, that's awful. But yeah. Honestly, when it comes to certain things about like whether you should let them go or not, honestly, I think it should be just down to the person who wants to keep it going or drop it. Like, if somebody enjoys watching anime, you should be allowed to watch anime. Likewise, if there's certain games that you enjoy playing, you should allow yourself to play them. I think it's kind of ridiculous. It's a ridiculous notion to think that when you're a certain age, there are certain things that you have to force yourself to completely stop. Like, for example, for me, there's always been this kind of tension that I feel that I will eventually stop the gaming thing, or I'll eventually stop watching certain movies, or that I would stop enjoying the music that I enjoy just because my calendar age says something. But I think ever since the lockdown, where I think for a lot of us, our young adult years and our adolescence was adversely affected by the lockdown. I think people are starting more and more to drop away the milestones of when we're supposed to be doing things, because the economy already screwed it over, and then the pandemic just basically erased it outright. It just destroyed any sense of stability that we had. Or, I mean, granted, there are many other things that kind of erase its stability, but like especially the last 5 or 6 years, I think we all knew that logically, but I think it just took maybe in some ways the world kind of finally affirming that things were not the same as the way that we were taught, that I think people were finally starting to let that go. Yeah. Logically, I knew this, but I felt like it needed some, like, sometimes it just needs a little bit of like social backing for it to finally like kind of stick, so to speak. And I think it feels like, I feel like now in my early 30s, it's finally starting to kick in. And funnily enough, that's kind of precisely what I was praying for in a lot of ways. It's like, when am I gonna stop giving a damn of what social shoulds I have to follow? And everyone says, like, you early to mid 30s are when it finally kicks in. If not, maybe your 40s. And I'm happy to say that early 30s for me was when it finally kicked in. Because now I'm just not, I'm not trying, but like, now I'm just not giving a damn so much on so many things. And you know what? I think I'm better off for it, if anything. Now, speaking of not giving damns about certain things. Now, this is a big decision that I've had to make. Because as you all know, I am not comfortable talking about timelines or like when deadlines of certain things are going to happen, because especially with the way people treat this medium, they're all like, if you were off about the certain thing, bye, not listening to you anymore, you're a scammer, etc. And I always think about it in terms of ethics, and yet I also am finding more and more that Twitch in a way has kind of become a little bit of a playground. So I think, you know what? I'm going to start loosening it up a little bit and start experimenting with timing based on what I've learned about how timing works, at least for me. So at least here on Twitch, I am comfortable exploring timing, but with a giant huge caveat that I want to say is, please do not take my word as gospel, because with the knowledge that you have, once I pull the cards for you, it could happen sooner or later than what I predict. Or, for all I know, not at all, depending on what it is that you happen to hear. So, again, please do not take the timing as gospel or as fate. So starting today, I am willing to experiment with timing, but I need to put the caveat that it's not 100% guaranteed, okay? Nobody can even say that, except maybe you, the universe, or whatever circumstances you happen to come across, okay? So I will give timing a go, but I'm just so wary about it, I will say, because I just don't want to feel as if I'm lying. You know what I mean? So we'll see. And please report back to see if any of the stuff that I happen to say happens to come to pass. If not, well, at least it's something that you could, bare minimum, think about. Okay? So, without further ado, let us go ahead and get started with the first read of the day, which is Hallucinating Reality. You are number 1. Go ahead, ask your question. I did end up changing my noise canceling filter on OBS because I kind of figured out that it was taking up a lot of my GPU usage. You went to the queue last week. You were on the queue last week. So you're still on there. That I'm not a fan of them either. I'm not a fan of timeline reads either, because especially if it doesn't come to pass. Oh yeah, you're right. It was the inner child reading I did last week. You're right. You're right. Oh my gosh. You're right. Well, I'll still keep you there in case you want another one. Well, because I remembered you wanted me to, like, if there was like any other people who came up first, you can. I think I remember, like, Hyun, like, you said like a few streams ago that, like, if there was anybody else who came first, since you have the privilege of being a mod, then I could put you last. But if you want to go first, I could totally do that. Okay, did you want to be taken off tonight? Because I can totally take you off if you're not comfortable. Okay, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. Because I mean, you literally said as much. Yeah, you literally said as much, so it's all good. So Hallucinating Reality, you're still up first. But yeah, I especially feel that, Momo, that, like, especially when like an event doesn't come to fruition, I feel like I'm lying with timing. But on the other hand, though, you also have to think about how much or how little involvement they put into a certain thing as well. It's just really hard. That's why I often I don't like putting in timelines. Like, I've had so many. But it's like I've had so many clients asking me about timing. And it was like, okay, maybe it's time that maybe I tried it at least, just to say before I finally say, no, absolutely not. Do not put timelines in a 39.5-foot pole. Don't even put them near me. So I'm going to try, at least for here, at least it feels like a safer experimental ground. Because I'm not, like, you guys are not required to pay anything. So I feel more comfortable here than I would in an official paid capacity, especially in the paid capacity, because I feel like as if I have to be much more on point when money gets involved. All right. You want to know if you'll ever be acknowledged for anything good that'll lead you to a path that's for you in the future. Well, basically, you have to do what I want to do as a career, or it's either like a system fails me, my family failing me, everyone leaving at the same time, I'm struggling to feel like I even have needs for myself. I see. Okay, so there's a 5-card spread that I have about the road to success. I could try that one. Ugh. Which is normal, because I mean, I think most people tend to be terrified of success because of not only the change of the quality of life, but also the quality of expectations placed upon you. So it's understandable why success can be very scary to a lot of people. And yeah, it feels like the pressure is a lot high. It certainly feels like the pressure is a whole lot higher. And so there's this tendency of, like, funnily enough, wanting to self-sabotage in order to go back to the status quo that, even though you're not satisfied with it, it's at least something more familiar that you can actually, it kind of feels like you can actually handle or control. But at what cost to, again, your future benefit, or even just what you could be doing with your time instead. So I understand how success can be very scary. And just a change of any status quo can be scary. Yeah. It can be difficult to really affirm to yourself that you do deserve something better than what you have right now. Like, I've always felt like I deserve more than the provincial life. And yet the provincial life is all I've been living for the past 3 years. Because I am finding that big wider world kind of scary sometimes. Like, what am I supposed to do with, like, without knowing that my mom's upstairs, or what am I supposed to do, like, not seeing the same four walls? I actually have to, like, go out there and do things? What? It can get scary. I understand. And yet we need to do it. We need to do it in order to grow further. And especially if you're trying to get out of those limiting beliefs that people who really don't get us tend to put on us. Like, wait, I actually have to prove them wrong? Why? I totally get how frustrating and scary it can get. Excuse me. And yet we also need to understand that we do deserve something better. Even with how scary it can be. So, find some small ways to take on those challenges. And listen, that is very familiar. You know how many times that I often, like, the thing that I often get more scared about losing reality is especially just being looked upon as a cautionary tale to someone else. And it also doesn't help that sometimes, excuse me, I feel like a side character a lot of the time, where, like, I'm pushing somebody else's story along, and meanwhile I'm just the same person sitting here in the same four walls doing the same thing week after week after week, nothing changing. So I totally get that feeling of, like, I'm a catalyst for everybody else, but for myself, for some weird reason, I'm not able to do the same thing. I haven't even turned over the cards yet, but this is what I'm feeling right now. You totally can be a catalyst for yourself. And what I think you need to, what I feel like you need to do, and I've been working on this as well personally, is is giving yourself the time to reestablish what self-trust looks like, what collaboration looks like, and what your boundaries are. Get to know yourself again. Because, believe it or not, even just a year ago, we are different people from where we started from. So, always give yourself the time to take the time to get to know yourself again and again and again. Because we're not fixed beings. The one constant besides love is change. So that's one piece of advice I can give you already, before I even turn the cards over. And keep in mind as well, I'm working on this too. Like, a lot of stuff that I tend to talk about here, I'm working on it in some extent, in some way, on myself too. So, you are not alone. And also remember, like, inaction is also a kind of action as well. And also, I like to put in a question that one of my coaches gave me a couple days ago, which is, can everything be achieved with action? Because some part of it also requires a bit of receiving too, allowing yourself to receive as much as you give. So with that, let me go ahead and turn these cards over. Let's see what other solid stuff that I can pull for you here. So the first card on the road to success is about subconscious beliefs. So let's see what we got here. Okay, first we got the Emperor. So the Emperor is a major arcana card, and it's very much about making a logical order out of things, law and order, and very rooted in order and structure. But there's a sense of you need to take control over everything in order for things to be valid, which that's something with like any adult or anybody who is trying to take on more responsibility, is the sense of, I need to be in charge in order for things to go a certain way. And yet being in charge also includes a sense of delegation, allowing creativity where it's warranted as well. So there's a balance that you need to start examining. Like, how much is too much overbearing control? Where's your limits? Where do you need the outside world, the divine, etc., to have your back at this time? And more importantly, making sure you don't box in what kind of assistance that you can get. Because sometimes you might find that, like, you might find that assistance might be Oh, you're welcome, Bunsfish. Sorry I couldn't get to you. You were second. But hopefully next time, Thanks for coming. But yeah, getting back to hallucinating realities, reading, I'm feeling like most importantly, is finding out what your authority style is. Hmm. Got it. Okay. Got it. So I think the first thing that might be good to examine is maybe exploring that subconscious of like what your leadership style is holding, what your concerns are of what you take on versus what you relinquish, etc. And most importantly, exploring what the like. I know, like we tend to look upon logic a lot of the time, but we also need to look at the feelings behind that logic too sometimes, because we are very emotionally driven souls. So it's important that we look at what's running the program, what's running the show, because we're not robots. So, secondly, we got here is risk to be taken. And we got the devil. Let me zoom in here real quick. So, the risk that I'm seeing you taking with the devil is looking at what your desires look like, seeing what it is that you want, and more importantly, looking at your hopelessness and despair and seeing what's behind that, because oftentimes the frustrations that you're having might have something going on underneath the surface that needs to be acknowledged. And the frustrations that we sometimes may have in our lives, or the blocks that may come up, it may be an invitation for you to start paying attention to an aspect of yourself that feels like it needs a bit more attention, that's been feeling neglected for too long. So I'm feeling like it may be time for you to start looking at what your desires are, what you want to get out of the success, what it is that you're actually looking for. Like, just to pull an example here, sometimes a car might be underneath a desire to basically be able to go anywhere at any time, or money, it's, at least in this material plane, an expression of freedom and stability. I see. Yeah, that's tricky. And yet those desires are perfectly valid. So don't discount them. So next we got conscious mindset. Let's see what we got here. We got the High Priestess. She's been coming up quite a bit with the Twitch collective recently. And I think from the way that you talk about things, there's very much a focus on bridging your wisdom and your knowledge and being a bridge between worlds, and especially embodying, yeah, you just said it at the same time, especially embodying what it is that you've learned up until this point. So that feels very clear to me, what you've been doing your best to do with trying to figure out all of these things. And it's no wonder that you feel like you're wondering, when's the acknowledgement coming? When is the positive regard and the attention coming? Part of it is also allowing yourself to be proud of what it is that you've accomplished as well. So it comes in two fronts. Okay, I'm glad I'm making sense here. So we got an added 4 minutes, at least on the Twitch side. So I'm going to keep going here. So the next one is about environment. And we got the tower. So we got some foundations that need to topple over. Because clearly something's not working inside the house. So yeah, environment. Yeah, from what you said. Bahu 4th. Okay. Yeah, my Vedic astrology is a little bit rusty. But anyway, I think this certainly manifests as to where you felt like the world's failing you, and the struggling to have your needs met simultaneously. It can be very catastrophic, and very disruptive. And yet, I'm also feeling like, again, like going back a little bit to what I said earlier, there's a call for you to pay attention to what's been feeling neglected foundationally, be it inner child, be it your shadow, etc., or some revelation that maybe before you weren't ready to see, that now I think you're ready to look at it more fully. So yeah, being honest about what you want and where you want to go. I sometimes find that that's the harder thing to do compared to being able to push someone else to do the things that they need to do. So I think this is a good time for you to start looking at how far you've gone so far. Look at the foundations of what you've built. Get to know yourself again. And is it normal to have your material foundations completely weird, but then the premonitions and all that makes more sense? Well, yeah. I mean, I'm kind of a personification of that, in a way. Like, my physical reality is very, very odd. But the things that I know, the things that I understand, make a lot of sense, even with this weird reality that I tend to live. That makes sense. So yeah, it doesn't mean that you have to start completely from scratch. I think it's just more so just paying attention to what it is that you have in front of you right now. Seeing how it pans out. And we got a minute left. So finally, we got obstacles. And with that, we've got magician. So, and it's one of the hardest realizations, one of the scariest, and yet one of the most liberating things that is important for the human being to remember, which is we can create an aspect of, like, so many aspects of our reality. So much can feel out of control, and yet so much we can also manipulate in our lives and harness it to put towards things that we want to create. Okay, we got an ad in about 30 seconds according to my Twitch dashboard, so I'm going to take a little bit of a break, and then I'll continue on with this final card here, the Magician. So, we will be right back. So stay tuned, everybody. Yep, I'll still be here. Don't worry. But I'll be back as soon as the ad break ends. Okay, so Twitch side, at least, we will be ending in about 10 seconds. Thank you so much for your understanding and your patience, especially since I'm streaming on more than one platform. I am a Twitch affiliate, so there are ads on the other side. But yeah, thank you so much for your patience. Okay. Oh, excuse me. All right. Thank you so much for coming back. We are back here. Okay. So the magician. So, like I said earlier, one of the scariest and most empowering things that we know of is the creation. We have a lot that we can do to involve ourselves in the creation of our reality. And yet, it's in the obstacle section of the road to success, which you kind of said as much in your comment here that you've had some family interference, even despite that wanting to create more of your own reality. So yeah, that can make that creation rather difficult, and it may feel like at some points it's just as if like you're almost lying to yourself in a way. It's like, I know that I'm a creator of my own reality, but it's like, it's so frustrating that like the reality that I want to see, it feels so distant or almost like I'm lying at some instances. I could say that because I kind of get that from experience sometimes too. So I'm going to see what piece of advice that I can pull for you to make it easier to start making things feel a bit more unified, so to speak. Like, make it easier for you to manifest the life you want to live. And I pulled out from the Earth Magic deck by Stephen D. Farmer, and I pulled the Clouds, Shape-Shifting. So here's what we got here. All right. In both subtle and more dramatic ways, you can shapeshift by your choice of clothing, hairstyle, adornments, and even mannerisms, such as facial expression, gestures, and the way you walk. By adjusting these along with your internal attitude, you can actually display different personas. When you experiment with these variations of self expression that are not how you ordinarily present yourself, others will react to you depending on the degree in which your persona contrasts with the one they are most familiar with. Be like the clouds as you try out different forms, stretching your limits at times, willing to move and adjust as necessary. Lift your head up, square your shoulders, and stand tall, such as your chest and heart open to the world. And note how this feels. You may feel vulnerable at first, but stay with it. Then let your shoulders fall forward slightly. Pull your chest inward an inch or two, and let your head drop a little. Observe how this feels. Experiment with contracting your aura, your energy field, then expand it as far as you comfortably can. By this kind of shape-shifting, you can consciously choose your expression into the world. Just remember who you are at the core. So, the card kind of talks about it in terms of adornment, but I think it's also a call for you. I think it's also kind of an extension of what I was talking about earlier, is taking the time to get to know you. Be it in your energy. Also talked about it it also talks about it in terms of adornment. Adornment also is a pretty effective way of exploring this kind of energy. And even just one thing I've been actually experimenting with recently is meditating on the person who already has what I want in the future and asking her, what habits did she develop in order to become said person? What are things that she did? What are things that she thought about? What are things that she tried? From this time period in my life, what did she try? And then I tried doing them. Now, I haven't been as consistent as I have been in the beginning of the year, but I have been doing that kind of meditation of like projecting myself in the future, asking that person in the future, what advice can you give me to things that I could try now to be at the place where you are at that point. Yeah, I'm thinking that rather than fight, because I know how exhausting that is, maybe learning a mode of, maybe switching tactics might be the good thing to do here. And maybe exploring a mode of surrender. Now, I don't mean surrender as in giving up, but I mean mode of surrender as in you start opening up more doors towards peace and negotiation. It doesn't have to be with the people that have been disturbing you. Obviously not. Like, protect your safety, first and foremost. But I'm thinking more so surrender as in what thoughts and what actions and what modes of fight have been the most unhelpful to you at this point. What can you put down? And I know you've probably heard this kind of thing over and over and over again. But yeah, I think even taking the time to meditate with that future self that has managed to move forward, maybe getting some advice from that person of how did you get to this point? Or if it's somebody that you currently look up to in your life, about like, how did you get up to this point? Chances are pretty good they might have some answers for you. You never know. Give it a try. But yeah, it's a time for you to start experimenting. Experiment with your power. Like, I just noticed it now. All of your cards are major arcana. All of the cards that I pulled are major arcana cards. Got the Emperor, then the Devil, then the High Priestess, then the Tower, then the Magician. And all of them have 5s or 1s in here. So, and also, a good number of them, like almost all of them, have personifications as well. Magician, the High Priestess, the Emperor, the Devil. All of them have personifications of reality manipulation of some shape or form. So I'm feeling like it's also a reminder that you have a lot more power than you think, than you feel at this very moment. So start experimenting. And I think also you might want to get in touch with that friend about transmutation as well. Because yeah, I think it's time that you started experimenting. I feel like this is a call for you to start experimenting with that. Start shapeshifting. See what those energies have to say to you. What do you need to pay attention more to in order to move forward? And most importantly, the acknowledgement starts and ends with you. Because you ultimately are the one who can give permission to what you allow into your system. And more importantly, what you want to call yourself on. You have a lot more power than you think you have. So don't be scared of it. Well, it's okay to be scared, but don't be scared of your power, because you need it, if anything. We all need it. Even the most quietest person needs that power. So I hope that makes sense to you. Yeah, I think it's a call for you to pay attention. Like, I feel like it's like all the major arcanas are telling you to, like, you can't ignore it anymore. It's time for you to start experimenting, start trying something. Of course, I'm always willing to do this. All right. So Bunsfish just missed out on it, unfortunately, but I'm sure Bunsfish will come back for a later read. But looks like Hyun, my wonderful mod, you are next, my friend. Also, if anybody else wants to be read, please feel free to jump on to either my Discord server, Time to See His Magic Circle, where you can post on my thread tarot cues and cues, or you could just comment it in the chat. If you have to leave early, that's understandable. Just like, feel free to just comment your question either in the chat or on my Discord thread, and then from there I will pull for you. Ooh. Take your time, Hyun. I'm in no rush. We just hit the hour mark. Also, did y'all hear that, like, Draco Malfoy is, like, a huge mascot for, is, like, a huge mascot for the Lunar New Year this year? Because apparently the transliteration of Malfoy means horses riding in fortune. In case you don't believe me, hold on. Here's an article. You're welcome. I could not stop laughing when I saw that. But yeah, it's an actual thing. Okay. Ancestral messages. We will work on that. All right, let's do it. Don't really have like a specific, hallucinating reality. If you're still here, I just got an idea. And then I'll do this for Hyun as well. Yeah. Just got an idea. Let me pull you a Queen Herbie song that you could explore this energy with. One moment, please. Hello. I've listened to this song. This was my theme of 2025, essentially. R.I.P. to the old me. It's a good song, but I think it really connects to what you've basically described up until this point. Because it talks about how you shed away old, ridiculous old standards, and how that shedding of old standards can fertilize your growth. So I say give this a shot. All right, so I got it linked for you. Check that out. You're welcome. I'm glad that I thought of it now while you were still here. Okay, Hyun's ancestors. Let's see what messages they have for you. And I don't know why I thought of Mulan. Like the Disney version, like the animated version of Thank you. Thank you so much. Did my music end? I do not know why I thought of the ancestors from that movie, but I did. Oh my god. Why? Why? It's so funny. Alright, new playlist here. I mean, the second movie, I think, gets too much flack. I mean, I think it gets yelled at too much. I think for what it was trying to do, it's actually not bad. Yeah, we do not talk about the live action. Like, come on. You use the FBI slogan on the sword, please. I mean, even yeah, the FBI, they use the FBI slogan on the sword. Hold on. Fidelity, bravery, integrity. That's the FBI slogan. I wish I was joking. But look it up. Look up the kanji of what, like, or the like the kanji of what they wrote on the sword, and it's basically the FBI slogan. Oh my god. And the biggest travesty, in my opinion, they wasted Donnie Yen and Chang Pei Pei's skills in that movie. I mean, Chang Pei Pei was basically like Chang Pei Pei and Donnie Yen are martial arts movie icons. And if the names sound familiar, Donnie Yen played Chirrut in Rogue One, a Star Wars story, as well as Ip Man. And then Chang Pei Pei played Jade Fox in Crouch Tiger, Hidden Dragon. And yeah, she did all those moves herself. It really wasn't. Like, I think people are finally, like, I mean, I think there were more people that actually liked Rogue One than there were people who bashed it, in my opinion. Because, like, Rogue One actually is a really good film, and I think especially it took such giant risks. Like, especially like the way it ended, you would not think it would end that way, but it did. And I was like, what? They actually went there. They actually went there with the story. And I'm like, this is good. And the fact that you actually get to see real people dealing with this. I loved it. I loved it a lot. Like, I ended up watching it, like, twice in theaters. Because that's how good it was to me. And certainly, I think I actually was okay with the explanation in the design flaw of the Death Star. I really was okay with how they explained it. I especially like Chirrut and Baze. Ironically, I wished it was a little bit longer. I wished there was more length. I wouldn't have minded watching it a little bit longer. But I really liked it for what it was. And especially that line, rebellions are built on hope. I still think about it. It's such a simple line, but it's very true. Rebellions are built on hope. Like, are there flaws in the movie? Obviously, there are flaws. There are flaws to every movie. Because there's only so much you can do in, like, a short production time. But does it still have a good message to it? Absolutely. Absolutely. And I wish you got more of it. I wish you got more of those. Okay, so for Hyun, what do their ancestors say? I got 4 cards here for you. All right, let's see what we got. Oops. I think I accidentally muted it. Okay, there we go. So, first card I got for you in terms of advice from the ancestors, we got the Ten of Pentacles. So, the Ten of Pentacles The vibe that I often get with the Ten of Pentacles is kind of like a homecoming to just rewards and relishing in your abundance and appreciating the good things in your life. And I feel like it's a call for you during this time period is to enjoy the fruits of your labor, because you've worked hard a lot. Like you've done a lot of hard work on yourself, and it's time for you to enjoy it. Enjoy the fruits of your labor. It doesn't even have to be the traditional material things or physical manifestations. It can be just the fact that you're in a better headspace, or you're trying things that maybe before you couldn't even fathom of trying. Things you couldn't see yourself doing. The fact that you're giving it a try, that's big. That's really big. So give yourself a lot more credit than you've probably allowed yourself to receive. So that's the first piece of advice that I'm getting from the ancestors. Let me look at my ads. Come on, even the ancestors are saying that. What, I'm just a mouthpiece. Don't shoot the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger. Anyways, second piece of advice I've got for you is justice. Justice! So yeah, more arcanas. I'm getting ones that I don't typically get all the time. But yeah, secondly, the piece of advice that I'm getting is make sure that you're looking at as many angles as you can on an option that you're looking at before you make the decision. And don't be afraid to adjust your criteria accordingly if you're making a major decision or you're trying to figure out what something is. And most importantly, trust yourself when you make that assessment and you make that judgment. Because there are some things that you don't have to take responsibility for. Yeah, I see. Yeah, because I mean, especially with college applications, you can only assess so much before eventually you're just going to have to take the leap. So yeah, assess what you can and then make that decision knowing, like, having faith that you've done the best you could at the time. So that's the next thing that I'm getting from this. So, third piece of advice from the ancestors. And now I'm thinking about the book, The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse. Highly recommend that book. Highly recommend the short film associated with it. It's a good movie. It's a good stuff. The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse. I do not know why, but that film, like, that story still makes me cry. It's like I'm like a full-on adult, and I watched that, and it's like I get to a certain point in the movie, and I just feel like, like I tear up. Especially that part. There's literally a line where it says, "I sometimes feel like you have more faith. You have more faith in me than I do." There's literally a line in there that says that. All right, so the next card that we got for you here in terms of ancestral advice is the Queen of Swords, which, funnily enough, is the cover of my deck box, in case you're curious. And I find it interesting that, like, the blade for the Queen of Swords sword is very lunar. It's kind of interesting. And calm down. I think it's just like the image is pretty cool. But anyway, Queen of Swords. I think it's two things. I feel like the message is twofold. That you need to trust your discernment more, because you're more accurate than you think you are. So that's number one. And number two, be very honest about yourself and what your situation is. And what your experience is. So, yeah, it's kind of twofold from what I'm saying. It's very much about paying attention to your surroundings, because like what you're assessing is not wrong. Trust your instincts, and also allow yourself to be honest about what's going on. As scary as it can be, because that truth will set you free. Okay. And the final card I got here, at least for the tarot, is the Four of Cups. So Four of Cups, I kind of see as like there's a sense of like grass is greener on the other side, where it's easy to get so sucked in about what's not here that you almost forget that like there's so much going on in front of you. So I'm feeling like there's a warning of not getting too stuck in... There's a warning to make sure you're not getting too stuck in your own misery, like getting to the point of navel gazing, and to the point where like you're losing touch with what has been working, even if it's something small. It's a call for you to pay attention to what has been working in your favor, and also, again, not only acknowledge how far you've come, but also what you've dealt with. And remembering, most importantly, that you're not, you don't have to face this alone. Yeah, so I think it's like a call for you to start reaching out to them more. You don't have to be stuck in your own... You don't have to be stuck in yourself. And also trust yourself more. All that brutal. I've seen much brutal readings. Much more brutal readings, trust me. I've seen some brutal stuff. Like, I think like last week I did like a I did a reading for I think I did a relationship reading like last week, and it was like that one, God, I think that one was pretty brutal. Okay. So this one's going to be a little bit hard. It's going to be a little bit hard to write down. But here's a song that I got for you, Hyun, if you want to explore it. Let's hope I don't get destroyed by the algorithm. That's your song recommendation. I do have to admit, I like the choir of the song, honestly. Magazine. It's a good choir. I have to say, like a good chorus. I have to say with that song, it's very earworm like material. But yeah, I mean, the one beautiful thing about Queen Herbie is like it feels like self-affirmation is such a big thing with her that I think this is why I enjoy her material. Let me look up this song here. I almost played it off. But I mean, I think it's just showing that like you've tried really hard up until this point, and I think it's time that you. I think it's time that you started. I think the biggest message that I'm getting with this is allowing yourself to start dreaming bigger than you probably allowed yourself to do so before. And play around with the ideas of what you'd be doing. And allowing yourself, most importantly, to want more. As impossible as it may sound or look. But that's what I've got for you. That's what I'm getting for you anyway. Don't shoot the messenger. That's what I got for you. Hey, nothing wrong with that. You gotta feel what you gotta feel. Okay, Discord, got you. One moment, please. Okay, so here's what I got from Discord. From the Runcible Spoonie, thank you. Alright, so Runcible Spoonie got the wolf cut, congratulations. Made a decision about Florence, spring 2027, which, funny you mentioned that. So you remember, you guys, I said it was probably going to be the fall? I was wrong. However, what I pulled wasn't incorrect. Because it turns out wands, if you're looking at timing, I was saying for the one semester, for wands, it was going to be, I looked up what wands meant in timeline, like timeline translation, and it turns out wands actually represent spring. So I was correct. I was technically correct in terms of what I pulled, but I just got the wrong season. So I wasn't wrong. That's kind of scary. But anyway. Runcible Spoonie made a decision about Florence, spring 2027, started a new job, somehow still feel cranky and like nothing fits, and she's kind of getting annoyed with everything, even though She's doing the things that she wants to do. It's like she's going through another puberty. What the heck is going on? Tarot style, of course. So, Runcible Spoonie, I hope I get you some answers. But yeah, second adolescence. This is the thing that people are only recently talking about. Second adolescence happens between 25 and 40. So, a lot of your 30-somethings, you feel like as if you're going through a second adolescence. That's a thing, people. So, do not beat yourself up too hard, okay? I mean, we'll talk about quarter-life crises, midlife crises. But yeah, like, there's been a lot more evidence, even in neuroscience, that the development ends at 25. It's looking more and more and more like a myth. There's still changes going on, even after 25 years old. So, if you're feeling like an adolescent in your 30s, that's why. But yeah, let's see what we can pull up for Runcible Spoonie. But yeah, there's a book also that kind of explains this just as well, which covers a lot of 30-somethings. It's called But You're Still So Young by Kayleen Schaefer. Oh, whoops. Okay, we got a 3-minute ad break, people, so I'm gonna take this opportunity to use the bathroom, refill my water bottle, and we'll be back. And I'll talk about this book a bit more. So, I'll be back. Okay, wonderful people. Thank you so much. We are back. Anyway, anyways, But You're Still So Young by Kayleen Schaefer. In case that name sounds familiar to you, she also was the one who started the text me when you get back or text me when you get home movement, and she even wrote a book on it as well. But yeah, she talked about how being in your 30s is like a second adolescence, because at that point, the guardrails that you had in like your teens and your 20s drops away in your 30s. And so you really have to start confronting what it is that's not serving you in your 30s versus your 20s and your teens. And a lot of times it tends to be like maladaptive behaviors that maybe the consequences were not as steep in your teens and 20s, but like in your late 20s, early mid 30s, it really does take a toll and you have to deal with those. And even like the world changing so dramatically in your 30s as well. Like not only your perception, but also just things that you thought were going to be there but weren't. All these things described in one book. I came across that book, funnily enough, when I was like 28, 29 years old. I thought it was like a preparation manual, and it turned out to be an apt assessment. It's a good thing that I actually looked at that book back then, because I feel like I've taken on my 30s now with a little bit less pressure. I mean, there's still some pressure that I still carry from conditioning, but at least I stripped that off a little bit. So yeah, if you feel like you're going through a second puberty in your 30s, it's not inaccurate. It's just a different kind of puberty. It's more of an internal puberty rather than an external one, if you catch my drift. But anyway, what the heck is going on? Are there any spreads that I feel like I could pull here, or should I just go wild card with this? You know what? I thought I was going to go wild card with this. So, Runcible Spoonie, this is for you. Here we go. Ooh, that jumped. Oh, excuse me. Hey, Momo. I'm doing Runcible Spoonie's reading right now. And did I take Kyon off the queue? No, I didn't. Okay, maybe I'll do that. So after Runcible Spoonie, you are next, Momo. Also, shout out to Momo as well. Because he did a really, really good astrology reading for me of my birth chart. Like, there's some parts I never really thought about, actually, in terms of how I see myself. And there's some parts that I did, but but I didn't have the words for it until you did it. So thank you. And Runcible Spoonie, Runcie's also interested in getting a reading from you at some point. So ooh, okay. Oh, if you want me to pay attention. Okay, so here we go. Runcible Spoonie, what's going on with the second adolescence? So this one, like, two of these cards really wanted to jump out at me. So let's go ahead and take a look at them. So, first off, actually, I need my phone for this. Give me one moment here. Okay. All right. Okay, so first card that jumped out immediately. Well, besides the first card that I hit to turn over. So, Queen of Cups. So, citing from the book directly here, this first line especially, she is poetry in motion, imagination incarnate. She heeds her intuition and follows her heart. Though her steps seem random and impulsive, they are guided by instinct. So, I feel like the things that Runcie's done up until this point, it's not out of like sheer randomness per se. There's clearly a plan in place, which, I mean, it's Florence and she's going for it. And I think especially that's the first thing that she needs to realize is she's doing a lot already to make these dreams come true. And so it's understandable that this feels like a second adolescence because, well, in some ways, she's taking some risks that she's not been used to taking up until this point. So it's also tapping into an energy that she may not have been used to tapping into. So I feel like this first card that got turned over, that flipped out of my deck, if anything, is a reminder, the affirmation that she is a creative being. And so this adolescence is a call for her to start tapping into said creativity. So that's what I'm already getting from just this first card alone. Now, trying to, like, in terms of this first flipped over card, now the first card that I actually pulled out of the deck, let's see what we got here. Okay, we also got Ten of Pentacles here. So, okay, so I know with Hyun's reading earlier, I talked about in terms of like relishing what you already have in front of you. I think in the case of Runcie, it's more so on the relishing of what's to come, because she's already put in so much groundwork. Because I mean, I could say that because I know her personally. She's put in so much groundwork to get to this point, and so I think if this is an important time to relish in the work that she has put in up until this point, to embrace the possibilities, especially in the abundance of opportunities that are about to come forward. That's what I'm seeing with this card. Let's see. What else we got here? So, next, we got the Hanged Man. So, now that these new opportunities have been cropping up, it's also a call to start seeing these opportunities from a different perspective and seeing them from a new light. And taking the time now, because she at least has a year to really line things up. Take this time now, between now and when she goes study abroad, to start some reconciliation work with the shadow, with the inner child, with even the possibilities that she thought were there but weren't, and vice versa, things that she thought wasn't there but they are. reconciliation of all these things, and learning, most importantly, to surrender the outcome. And to tap into the feelings that need to be felt. Allow herself to experience what needs to be experienced in the place that she's in at this very moment. And take this time as an invitation to prepare for what's next. To make the shifts that will make being in Florence, or being in that space, or just being in where she is now, a lot easier to handle. Hopefully I'm making some sense. So, a couple other pieces of advice that I'm feeling. I've been pulling this out for her a lot. The Knight of Pentacles. Oh my god, you came online. Okay. But yeah, I understand. Yeah, those shifts can be very subtle a lot of the time. And so, yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, like I said earlier, this puberty is more internal rather than external. And so seeing where you're growing from and where you're going to can feel a lot more difficult when there's none of the more obvious external markers to track that. So I feel like I've been talking about this in some variation all evening, but I'm feeling like this is a good time for you to acknowledge the parts that may have felt ignored, and also get to know you again. Because I mean, we're constantly doing that. Yeah, it's good to tap into that again. But now with the Knight of Pentacles in particular, let's get more specific here. It's obvious that you know what you want. You know what you want out of this life. You know what you want out of your experience. And you've been making your efforts towards that goal. And right now, it's important for you to have faith that your dedicated effort is going to pay off. That work is going to pay off for you. And most importantly, when you reach that thing that you're doing, you'll know what's right. Yeah, I know how scary it can be, having faith in all of that. Especially faith in something that's very intangible, very unknown. And yet there's some degree of, I mean, if we didn't have some faith in what we were doing, we wouldn't have even tried in the first place. Like if I thought I had some chance of going abroad, for example, because I applied for study abroad literally just last month. If I didn't have some faith that maybe it could work out, I wouldn't have even tried. So the fact that you've done the things that you've done up until this point, you actually have a lot more faith than you give yourself credit for. And I can say that because you're my friend. Absolutely. And more importantly, you have multiple shots. That's the one thing that we tend to forget, especially like school tends to make us think as if like you only have one shot, when really you have, like, especially in this reality, like once you get out of school, especially once you get past high school in particular, you actually have multiple shots. I mean, hell, even in high school, you actually have multiple shots to take it. I mean, I don't know if you all have heard about this infamous college placement test called the Gaokao. The Gaokao is basically a Chinese version of the SATs that are like super rigorous, and well, basically, it kind of determines your future, like which places you could actually go to, like in terms of colleges and stuff. And there's a story of this one guy who basically continued taking the Gaokao into his early 30s, I think, until he actually got the ranking that he wanted in order to go to the school that he wanted. Because the way people talk about the Gaokao, they talk about it as if, like, you only have that one shot, don't blow it. This guy kept trying until he was well past college age, like traditional college age, to achieve what he wanted. So, I think it goes to show that, like, until you're 6 feet under, it's never too late. That's what I gotta tell myself too, honestly. Just keep trying. So, yeah. I feel like this is an affirmation that, like, you know what you want, and you have the creativity to get there. You got this. And the final tarot card that I got here for you, we've got the Eight of Wands. And I don't think this journey of passion, this journey of creativity, I don't think it's limited to just Florence. This is paving the way to something much deeper for you, much more expansive for you, and it's a great undertaking that you're going through right now. I mean, certainly when it comes to like second adolescence, it feels like there's a lot that you're going through, especially with, like, you've already gone through so much right now. And yet this chapter that you're undergoing may go faster than you think. Because, I mean, wands, it's the element of fire. It will blaze through things so quickly. And in the case of, like, the image especially that stands out to me with the Eight of Wands is the dandelions. Because the dandelions, I often see them as messengers of dreams. Eventually those dreams are going to sprout into something beautiful. And so that's where the faith part comes in. Way to take that time to make sure those dreams will be nurtured. Bruh, why are you in my brain? Bro, why are you in my brain? But yeah, yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm feeling like, especially with this card, I feel like it might go beyond your program in Florence even. I feel like this is like the turn of a new massive chapter. Also, I'm glad that you're here, because here's the funniest thing. So, I don't usually do timelines, but you remember that, like, that reading that you happened to be a witness for in real time, like, 2 weeks ago, where the semester long one, I pulled all wands on the left side for the semester portion. Here's the funniest thing. I got the time wrong. Like, I said the time wrong, but the time period was actually correct according to what I've looked up. So I decided, you know what? Let me just try exploring timelines for a little bit. And it turns out wands represent spring, not fall. So I was actually correct. I just said the time wrong. Ah! That's kind of scary when I think about it in retrospect. That the whole thing was indicating spring, but I just didn't get the time right in my brain. Yeah, like I tend to associate that more with summer. So it's interesting that like all the literature was showing more wands being spring, if anything. Found that interesting. Hmm. So, in terms of how you can play with this new energy, this second adolescence, this second space of development, let me pull out a song for you. Right? That's why I thought fall initially, because like the red, you would think fall, because like things are burning away, more or less. You're left with ash, so you'd think fall. That's why I thought fall initially. But yeah, apparently wands are spring. And then, pentacles will make more sense as fall, come to think of it. And then I saw... But yeah, like... But yeah, I saw, like, cups and swords as more... like, winter-like. To me. Like, cups is spring, and then swords is winter, fall is summer, like, sorry... Summer, like wands is summer, and then maybe pentacles is fall. But this is where experimentation is really going to be important here. So I would not mind. Maybe this month I'll take on a few timing questions just to experiment and see what my personal chronology lines up with. Pentacles is winter? I mean, cold metal, I can kind of see that, but... Okay, so apparently Pentacles is winter, Wands is spring. I'm assuming Swords is summer, and... Cups is fall? Yeah, that's true. I mean, if you think about it in terms of Italian stuff, it makes a lot more sense. That's true. I didn't think about... That's a good point, Runcie. That's true. I gotta look at the Italian perspective on this. But yeah, I think ultimately, this, like, I feel like Twitch might be... Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why I thought... Yeah, I thought cops would be a different spot. That's interesting. So, I think this might be more of an experimental thing, so I'll see if, like, my personal chronology lines up with what people say that it fits, but yeah, so far... Yeah, so looks like Wands is spring. We'll see how everything else lines up. Okay. Anyways, The Queen Herbie song that I pulled out is Vitamins. So, I think this is a good time. I feel like this period of second adolescence, I feel like it's a good time for you to start reshaping your reality and just like getting back in your groove. Pay close attention to what feels good. Cut away the haters. That's what I'm feeling. Okay, now where is the alert video? There we go. Okay. That too. Working out, sleeping in, taking vitamins. Vitamin A, vitamin B, vitamin C. Vitamin D, vitamin please. I can spell vitamins, oh my god. Okay. Legit. Wowee. Time to revise some lessons. And I can see it's because you're actually teaching. That's what I got for you, Runcy. I hope that answered your question. There's so much going. I know there's so much going on, but you also need to remember that you got this. You know what you want. You just need to make sure you give yourself the faith and the strength to remember that you can do it. Yeah, talk about interesting times. Talk about interesting times. You got this. Hope that answered your question. Don't be afraid to watch it back if you need to. You know, I mean, considering that today's my half birthday and all that, we're halfway through this personal era, maybe I should pull myself some advice. I just realized I forgot to take a picture of the cards. Hold on. This is why I brought my phone. This is why I brought my phone. Okay. Woo. But yeah, I think I might try and give myself some advice about what should I do? Or like what things I need to keep in mind as I go through this journey that is live streaming. Because I have to admit, like, my world has changed. My world has changed so much over these past few months. Because, well, I gotta be for real. Even though I've been doing streaming for... I've been streaming for 12 years. I've been streaming for 12 years. I've been streaming for 12 years. I've been doing this, like the Twitch thing, for 8 years. And, well, in all that time, I thought it was just, I'm only gonna do this when I'm, like, rich. I'm rich, maybe, if I got, like, a pretty good second job. I just saw your Discord message, by the way. Anyway, I often thought that this was like a thing that, like, being monetized was only a thing that I was going to be like super rich, or if I had to have like this super astronomical if I had to have the super astronomical subscriber count or follower count, because I know like Twitch followers, subscribers are different compared to like YouTube subscribers. I tend to mix the two terms up pretty easily. Hyun certainly will make fun of that, but it's true though. Like, unfortunately, I stream on both platforms, so like, so subscribers feel like one and same to me. Because I mean, it feels weird calling people like calling my peeps, my beautiful people, followers, because it's like we're not worthy. We're not worthy. No, none of that. So I think that's why I naturally go towards subscribers, even though I know subscribers means something completely different on Twitch. We do need an audience name, I agree. So any recommendations, you're welcome to post them on Discord. But anyways, I think maybe... Agreed. Yeah, we definitely need to we need to come up with one. I used to have a few names. I don't remember what they are anymore back in the day. But I feel like they've just been appropriated so much that I need to figure out a new name. Lab rats. That is hilarious. I love it. So maybe I should give myself some advice. Like, this is such a massive chapter turn, like a massive page turn. Rat attack, that is hilarious. I love that. Oh my god, I remember that from the last stream I tuned into. But yeah, I'm thinking maybe some advice might be good to like navigate this new chapter, because I think it's like that's been like the one thing I've been having the hardest time adjusting to, because the thing that I thought was like the impossible scenario, it's actually here. I mean, granted, it's not enough to make a living right now, but the fact that this is actually here, that's the part that I'm still kind of processing at this point. So, like, how do I adjust to that? Alright. Okay. It's feeling 4 is the magic number today, which is interesting. And I think maybe I should listen to some music to embody that energy, take my own advice. So, here we go. I guess the nice thing about like changing the noise canceling is at least you could hear the cards shuffling properly. I feel like you couldn't really do that before, so. Dink, donk, hydrate. Thank you, Momo. I agree. Like, it would be so entertaining, like, take what you dish on yourself. But I understand why people are kind of hesitant to do that, because they don't want to like invade their put like their private lives on camera. You can censor. Like, self-censorship's a thing. You don't have to reveal so much. Well, I also understand that, like, it feels like it's not very objective if you read yourself, too, so I totally get that. But I think it's, like, again, I think for the sake of, like, entertainment, you don't have to, like, go personal. You could just go, like, what I'm doing right now, it's focusing more on the channel, not so much my personal life, although some of it's kind of personal, but... That too. Though, today's kind of empty. Because we've had, like, 6 people on average today. Which is a little low for me this week. Because usually I got to a dozen, usually on Saturdays. But I only gotten, like, up to 6. Which is different. But you know what? It's not bad. Sometimes low-key days are pretty good. And with it being my half birthday too, it's kind of nice to actually have a nice low-key day. You know what I mean? So I don't feel like I'm snatching anybody's spot. That being said, if anybody wants to be read, you are welcome to join in. And oh wait. Momo, did I read you? Oh, shoot. I am so sorry. Holy smokes. Good thing I looked at it now. So I'm just going to shut my eyes. It's going to be really interesting. Maybe like little slits. Just enough that I can access my phone camera. Yeah, I can't see the cards at all. Okay. So I'm going to shoot those. So, I have no idea what these are. No clue. So, we'll see what these are at the end. So, case in point, I think that's why readers don't read for themselves. Precisely because of what just happened. Anyway, Momo, you are next. You're next, my friend. What's going on? And I literally have no clue what I just pulled, so it's going to be interesting once I open this up at the end. Holy smokes. Now that is where that emoji that Hyun just sent to me DM'd on Discord. That's where that would fit. This moment that just happened. Also, I just noticed that my mouse is sharing between my laptops. That is so eerie. I did not know that was a thing. I thought that wasn't a thing. What? That is so freaky. I wish you could see what I'm seeing. Because I managed to, like, get my mouse to go across to my second computer. Yeah, I know. It is the way to go for me. Because it is my channel, but I totally forgot about Momo. I'm so sorry. So go ahead and post your question, Momo, if you haven't already. Yeah, so here's a really cool feature that, like, Mac OS can do. So if you have, like, two or more Mac OS, like, right next to each other, it's an extended monitor, basically what it is. So you can literally just, like, put your mouse, go across, and then it works, like, as if it's, like, just another monitor, when it's really a separate computer. Okay, so yeah, Momo's a game dev. So you're a little stuck in your game writing wise. Should you keep focusing on refining what you currently have written, move on to the next portion of the story, or just keep going with writing the 18 plus snippets I was previously doing? Yeah, it was kind of, I mean, I keep forgetting that Sidecar also works with like fellow computers. So like I tend to forget that until I accidentally do it and I'm like, because I'm used to having like my iPad or my monitor as my extension, not so much like two computers, and two computers of a different build, no less. So it feels weird. This is like my right side's my work computer that doesn't have all the bells and whistles of OBS like I do on my current display here. Like plain office computer, video computer. Hey, nothing wrong with that. That's still game development. Come on. I mean, pretty much. Everybody's got that passion character. Everybody's got that passion character. Hey, someone plus they're upside down. What the heck? Okay, hold on. Ah, ad going on? Okay, thank you. Okay. This is if I gotta... There's some cards that I still need to sort. Just give me one moment. Yeah, I totally get it. Like... It's one thing to, like, try... It's one thing to have a vision, and another thing to try and match it what's going on in your... What's going on in your brain, you know? Oh, you're subbed! Okay, sweet. Breakbeat for dissociation. This one is called... This track... Like, this, album that I'm playing from is called, Emerald Paradise by Fazera. I was playing a lot of Fazera's tracks just earlier, because, like, my chill hop playlist, for some weird reason, is not... It's not working. So, I just looked up, like, what... Like, I mean, thankfully, Fazera was just popping up on my YouTube feed, so I just pulled up this instead. It's like these nice, like, PS1 themed jungle tracks. So I'm gonna go down, I'm gonna make a new spread here. So I'm gonna look at, I don't think it's going to make a decision for you, but I think it's going to give you some things to keep in mind depending on which path you go down. So whether you choose, so the first path I'm going to put down is choosing, like basically choosing to refine what you currently have written, moving on to the next portion versus writing the snippets that you were previously doing. So I'm going to put down like 3 different paths here. And I think the thing to keep in mind with all 3 of them, basically. So I feel like there's a linked theme here in the development process. So a little bit of reinvention. It's a good track, I gotta say. It really feels like a PS1, PS2 era kind of track. Okay, here we go. So, if you continued what you're currently working on versus if you moved on, versus if you went towards snippets. Regardless of what you decide, what thing you need to keep in mind when you make your decision. Okay, thank you. I'm feeling some Queen Herbie here too. Everybody's getting a song tonight. Excuse me. And by the way, she's touring. I am so excited to see her live. I should get the funds by the end of the month, so I'm looking forward to when that finally happens. So unfortunately, I just missed her when I started learning about her music. So now that I actually know that she's touring, it's like, I am not missing her again. Nope, I am watching her this year. I put down as much in my vision board. Okay. There we go. So, focusing on refining versus moving on to the next portion. Surprisingly has 2. Snippets. Regardless what you should keep in mind. And a song for you to consider, to ponder. Help with your pondering. Okay, here we go. So, if you decided to continue with what you're working on, something you gotta keep in mind. 4 of Swords. So, if you're gonna keep going with what you're currently working on, it's important to give yourself enough recharge time, enough time to retreat, and let yourself recharge and reassess. I think regardless of what you choose, I think you definitely need to take some time to make sure you let yourself rest and recharge, because it's in that restoration that helps you get more ideas as to where you want to go next. So take a time to let your mind just wander and guard your time. That's important. Then, if you decided to go to your next section of the story, there's 2 things you gotta keep in mind with that one. Okay, so you got the Tower. If you're gonna move on to the next section, like at this point, it looks like there's gonna be some foundations you're gonna have to revise. Be prepared to do some revising if you're gonna do it now, because you might find like things might be different from where you started, which, I mean, it's common when it comes to writing a story, but I think you're especially going to be like paying attention to like what's glaringly off about the plot in terms of like where it is. You might come up with like new ideas that just don't fit with the foundation that you started off with. So be prepared for lots of revising. And the other thing is Page of Cups. Really got to pay attention to your characters and see where they want you to go, because ultimately sometimes we could think one thing when it comes to our characters, and then it's another thing what they're actually saying to you. So be the character whisperer if you really are going to go that direction, because you might find that where the characters want you to go may not be where you personally wanted them to go. So you be prepared to honor those character requests. Which brings me to the final thing, like if you are going to continue with the snippets. Ooh, the moon. Okay. So if you're going to continue with the snippets, one thing you gotta like let yourself put aside is like the fears and anxieties of how the story could be perceived. And I mean, with snippets like what you're writing, you're dealing with fantasy quite a bit, and it can be very disorienting. So be prepared to write something rather out of character, what may feel out of character and certainly unpredictable, especially with the nature of the snippets that you're writing. You really have to go to the, like, really hit your edges and take it to the next level, if you catch my drift. Really censoring myself here, apologies. But regardless what you pick, this is what you have to keep in mind. Two of Wands. So, regardless of which path you pick, whether you continue what you're working on now, you decide to move on to the next chapter, or you go with your snippets, ultimately, the thing you can't forget, even though the characters are going to steer some of the way, remember that you still have some power in the situation, because I mean, it is your creation. And yet, don't let it be this power of a creator be overtaken by hubris. Because the characters, like it or not, they do have some say as well. So, I say be the character whisperer. Figure out where's the best to go at this juncture. And then, in terms of the Queen Herbie song that I felt like pulling. Ooh. Thank Goddess. This is a good one. I think, like, regardless of how things are going, I think, like, right now, creatively, you're in your bag. Oops, wrong one. Whoops. But yeah, I'm feeling like creatively right now, Momo, you're in your bag. So I think allowing yourself to relish in the fact that you have all of these ideas that you can work with is a good thing. So I'm feeling like experiment. And also remember, because it is your story, your fantasy come to life in literature, allow yourself to go on the wild side a little bit. Play around with what you have. And of course, just like you've been telling me to hydrate, you should make sure you're resting in between. Don't burn yourself out. That's what I got for you, Momo. Hopefully that helps you pick out which one may work best for you. So now we finally will see, what did I pull? What did I pull for myself just earlier? So I took a screenshot. I literally have no idea what I pulled for myself. So we're going to see. What did I pull? In terms of advice during this period. Okay. All right. Oh, snap. Okay. This is going to be interesting, people. Here we go. Oh my gosh. Okay, so in terms of pieces of advice that I pulled for myself, the first card that I pulled is the Page of Swords. In terms of pieces of advice. Bruh, that is and I admit, the swords are the suit that I have the hardest time with when it comes to like understanding what's going on, but let's see. So I'm feeling like the Page of Swords is calling me to like be honest about where I want this channel to go, because I'm feeling like there might be some underlying fears that because now I'm actually able to get paid for this kind of stuff and monetization, that I might get too money obsessed, so to speak, and then I lose touch as to why I got here in the first place. And I'm feeling like it's time for me to start scrutinizing that fear. That's what's coming up here for what I'm seeing. It's like it's time for me to scrutinize that fear and get down to the root of it, and more importantly, not be afraid. Not be afraid to indulge or confront that side of me. And yeah, I mean, I said as much to pretty much all of you tonight, of like clinging on to that passion. And that's certainly a reminder for me in this season of life, is to not forget why I do this, why I love doing this in the first place. All right, and then the next card that I pulled for myself is the Ten of Pentacles. In terms of what it means for me, I think I might be leaning towards like Runcie's definition of what I pulled with the Ten of Pentacles, of like being open to what's to come, the opportunities that are to come, not just get so stuck on the like what could be, but more so enjoying what I have in this moment, because this moment, it's not gonna come again really in the same way. Being able to enjoy this small community that we have here. We've got 71 followers, thank you very much. 7 stream streak from Hallucinating Reality, 10 stream streak from Tantalus Studios, 7 stream streak from Starry Momo. Like, there's so many stream streaks on here, and shout outs and cheers and all these different things. All these different experiences that I thought were only possible if I were somebody completely different than what I am now. Which, I mean, I've gone through a lot of changes to get to this point, but I thought I was going to be somebody, like, dramatically different. Or somebody not like myself exactly. So the fact that I'm here now, in this space, in this time, relishing in this energy, that's huge. 12. That's incredible. I mean, the fact that, like, people tune in every time I'm on here, that's such a, like, that was such a dream. And then, like, even just the fact that I get up to maybe, like, 5 or even a dozen on some days. A long time ago, I was lucky if I even got one person to tune in. Just one. Just one person to tune in was a miracle enough for me. Just a best friend that I happen to know online, like I happen to know in real life, if they happen to tune in. That was a miracle. Thank you. Yeah, that's the part that I gotta honor, is the fact that I've been able to support a wonderful community like you guys up until this point, and I really appreciate you. And I'm thankful for the support. And I think that's the other thing I gotta learn, is like learning how to receive that love and support in whatever ways it decides to show up. I'm grateful to you guys. So, the last two cards I pulled for myself, I pulled the Star. And the Star has been a very important symbol for me personally. My tarot business, I mean, if I had like an official one on my own, if I had an official one on my own beyond coffee and beyond spiritual blossom, I would call it Wind Starshiner. I mean, like, my name apparently translates in one East African language as the one who makes the stars shine. So thus the name Wind Starshiner. And I've always loved astronomy. I mean, as you can see from the background too, I love galaxies, I love stars. My favorite pieces of media are Star Trek and Star Wars. So I even sign my name. With a star next to it. So stars are a huge thing for me. And even Runcie did a tarot reading for me, I think it was around the holidays last year, and the big symbol, like the big thing she told me was follow the star. So can I transfer you to the other side? Can I do that? No, I cannot. I can put two monitors, but I can't transfer them. Okay. I may have to pause the music for a second. Huge apologies. We are buffering! No! We are buffering at the deepest part of the stream. Okay. This is clearly on Twitch's end, because oh my god. What? Momo, you are so awesome. Thank you. I have to remind myself I have to change the goal now, because apparently now Final Cut Pro has changed. Final Cut Pro has changed now that, like, they're making a new subscription service. Okay. Okay, I don't know what's happening, but like my frames have dropped so much on Twitch's end. Not so much on YouTube, but Twitch is not liking me right now. Can y'all tell me how I look on the other side? Okay, now we're back. We're back. Okay. Great. Okay. How am I sounding? Because I know my stream all of a sudden buffered. It's like super unstable right now. Okay, great, great, great. Thank you. Because I did see it went back to green just now. So, yeah, Twitch is tweaking. Twitch is tweaking right now. Yeah, Twitch be twitching right now. Kind of comes to the job description. But anyway, we were getting to the star and the major symbol, like why it's so important to me. But yeah, the advice the star has for me is to remember to have faith in the future. And I think I remember that Rogue One quote. Rebellions are built on hope. That's like the big thing that's been coming in my mind right now. And biggest thing is sharing that light with other people. Being able to give back to my people, my community on here. And allowing myself to dream big, too. Because I've been dreaming small for a while. And the fact that this something is massive, like, at least to me it feels massive. Being able to do this. That's big. And finally, in terms of the tarot, I popped out the Three of Cups. I rarely pull reversals, but it came out reversed for me, which is interesting. So, Three of Cups, I usually tend to look at it in terms of like as a card of celebration and team spirit. And just celebrating the moment. And I kind of feel like as if it's kind of a time for me to start paying attention to when I tend to isolate myself, or times where I feel like I put myself in a third party, or times that I'm starting to feel like as if it might be a call for me to honor and protect my time a lot more. Yeah, maybe. And I just have this, I don't know why, it just feels like it's just this kind of sense of like, there might be periods where I might have to go at it alone for a little bit. And then also maybe take more time for myself. Yeah, maybe take some time to celebrate myself would be important too. Yeah, I'm gonna have to think about this one for a little bit. But it feels like it's kind of like a call for me to just yeah. Yeah. And I think it's like the biggest call for me is to like is to really dive into that time of like walking away from things that don't serve me, because the song that I thankfully I have stuff on YouTube as well, so if you want to like watch the rest of it on there, you're welcome to. But yeah, thankfully I simulcast for just this reason. But yeah, case in point, the funniest thing, the song that I pulled out is called My Season from Queen Herbie. And there's a line in here that says, "It may have ran in my family until it ran into me." But I thought more of of one of the rap lines that said that was saying along the lines of laughing while my old life's collapsing, because that's what it feels like sometimes. It's just like it feels like the way that I used to look at my life, it's starting to fall apart, and I just gonna have to let it, because it's a new season. It's a new season I'm walking into. And so I gotta let myself dive into it, relish in it, enjoy it. So that's a piece of advice that I'm feeling from this poll, is to relish in the new season that is this chapter of my life. Enjoy what I got. Don't be afraid to cut away some BS. And take care of myself. Be that catalyst for my own change. Yep. Hello, CMD. It's been a hot minute. And I think you are going to be my final person of the night, so go ahead, tell me. What's your question? Twitch bitrate's been a little bit testy today, so hopefully I am still comprehensible. Comprehensible. What's your question? You know, I've only learned that apparently you can listen only to videos. I had no idea that was even a thing. I really had no idea. Anyways. Is it Twitch? Is it is it Discord? Is it wherever you wanna ask, I will listen. Okay, I will check Discord in the meantime. Aww. That's pretty. Thank you. Yeah, I think I'm gonna give it another. I'm gonna give Comma Your Daddy maybe another 10 minutes. to come up with a question, because I am starting to feel a little bit energetically tapped out. But not really sleepy so much as like, you know, when like, how do I describe it? You know when like you start to feel like that little bit of like an energetic dip, and you kind of know it's going to be coming into a slippery slope unless like you pause. That's what it's feeling a little bit right now. Okay, so I wanted to ask what got me into theology. Good question. So I think it was it's not like getting into theology so much as like theology just got into me. So I went to a Catholic school growing up, and then when I got to I wasn't really like too strict in religion growing up, even though I did grow up in a Catholic household. I was exposed to a lot of other theologies growing up, and then I went to a Catholic school, and then when I got to college, that's when I really started my spiritual exploration. And I participated in an organization called Interfaith Youth Corps, which they've since rebranded as Interfaith America, which is like a nonprofit organization to help with interreligious literacy. So like people with like faith and non-faith traditions, which includes atheism. Actually, I actually had a couple of atheist mentors in my program. But yeah, I really explored a lot of my spirituality during the time, and I kind of realized that I wasn't very boxed in when it came to my spirituality, and I felt at home in multiple places. Like I felt the divine in Guanyin and Lakshmi, which I do with Mary Magdalene and Jesus. So it never really was locked in for me. I felt like we were all on the road for the same thing. It was just how we got there was going to be different for each person. And I volunteered in multiple churches. I volunteered in multiple volunteer organizations. And then I think my mother eventually was thinking of exploring hospital chaplaincy. And I realized that a lot of the books that I was reading during my sabbatical after my undergrad degree finished, pretty much all of it was about theology. No way. That's amazing. And I actually had a friend who, a couple of friends who actually were either descended from Guanyin or had trained under lineages related to Guanyin. And that is hilarious. And funny you mentioned that. I will tell a story about a dream that I had in just a moment. But yeah, between all of that and all the volunteering and all the books, it kind of was a Kim Samsoon moment. That famous scene where she goes through a library and then pulls out a book about pâtissière, cooking, essentially. And that's what that inspired her to apply to places like the Le Cordon Bleu, all these cooking schools. Similarly with me, that was me in theology. I realized all the books I was looking through were spiritual in some sort. And so I thought, you know what? Maybe it's time I explored theology as a subject. And I want to, if I was going to explore this, I might as well go for something that I at least enjoyed exploring. And I also don't want to be talking out of my butt. I didn't want to be one of those charlatans or scammy preachers. So that's what got me into doing a master's in liberal arts and religion. Though I found out later that that's more the academic side, not so much the ministerial side, but I'm working on that. Perennial philosophy. Good question on that as well. So, kind of mentioned that a little bit in kind of mentioned that a little bit in like answering the question earlier, but I'm feeling like my perennial philosophy, it still comes down to this. Like, I still feel like that we're all aiming for the same thing, which is this sense of connection, this sense of meaning. How we perceive that connection, how we look at, how we experience it, it's going to be different from person to person. Some of it might come under a giant umbrella. Other ones of us might go through a more solitary path. But regardless, there's this universal essence of how we treat each other decently and how we're doing our best to be good to this planet and to each other. I mean, some fundamentals have kind of evolved over the years, but that's still the perennial philosophy that I hold. And even my spirituality has evolved in a very dramatic fashion. Because I went from like a very narrow Christian mindset to not like narrow Christian as like evangelical. Like I was born Catholic, but I went from there to a much more expansive spirituality. Yeah. Yeah, I've always felt that too, actually. And I go to a Unitarian Universalist fellowship, but I also very much still do my own practices. It's like I never fully left where I started spiritually, but I also need to acknowledge that I contain multitudes. There's more to me than just where I was born into. And I think that's why I really want to. This is why I really want to go to Japan. This is why I really want to go to Japan in particular, because I feel like how they look upon spirituality, um, theology, and philosophy is very. It's much less. It's much less fixed compared to how we look upon it in the West. Well, more specifically the U.S., but because I mean that's a perspective I can easily speak about. But it feels like there's not this strict line when it comes to how they see spirituality. I mean, there's even the famous saying, um, um, "Born Shinto, marry Christian, die Buddhist." Like, there's that saying going on, and I really want to explore. Is there some credence to it? And also simultaneously, how do we extend such grace and living in our central life, like in our lives, as gently as possible, so to speak. Yeah, I feel like that too. For me, it's mostly been earth based spiritualities, goddess based spiritualities. Um, Buddhism's been a huge one for me. Hinduism has been coming up recently too. What else? What little experience I do have with indigenous religions, I've been exploring that a little bit as well. Paganism, quite a lot of that. Unitarian Universalism has really been a strong grounding for me as well. Um, but I haven't walked away from Christianity completely. I still cite from Catholicism and the Anglican Church quite a bit as well. I still step in those a lot, but I don't confine myself to those either. Oh, yeah, I've been actually meaning to get to the Upanishads. I did read the Bhagavad Gita when I was in grad school, and my dad even recommended it to me as well. Back when I was in college. Yeah, I was about to say, like, put put it up on Google Drive or Dropbox, and then like put the link in the recommends page or something. Okay, got it. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and type this in. Okay, so yeah. By the way, I have like a thread specifically for book recommendations on like under the special interest portion of my Discord. So if you want to recommend some books, you're welcome to do so right there. And yeah, Sanskrit is one language I really want to learn at some point because I mean I have been thinking of actually going back to Harvard Divinity at some point, and there is a language requirement. So you have to learn something from under there. So I've been thinking of actually learning some Sanskrit so that way I can read things like the Bhagavad Gita and the Upanishads and in particular the Vedas. Like the Vedas have been another one that I've been getting recommendations for a lot. I really want to check out those books at some point. But yeah, right now I've been very much in goddess spirituality land, for lack of a better explanation. And right now, is it in this book? Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, I need to learn German because like I actually have family in Germany, so I really need to learn it. And you learn Farsi. Oh, that's cool. And I'm studying Japanese right now because I want to be able to like read some old Buddhist texts at some point. So I'm going to try and get more of the ancient dialects down at some point. But yeah, I'm currently going through this book again. It's called Goddess Reclaimed. It's by my mentor, Sama Kalal. Which, if you're curious about her stuff, she has a YouTube channel called Flourishing Goddess. And I was lucky enough to like work with her for a year. And this book changed my life. Like the program that she did in general changed my life. And I'm currently doing it again. I'm even currently doing a Durga sadhana. I'm on day number 7 right now. And in case anybody's curious, a sadhana is kind of like a novena, for those who are more on the Christian end of things, or a petition prayer or meditation, where you meditate with like a saint, a deity, an angel, or like whatever important aspect you see for yourself or someone else. and you focus on integrating that aspect within yourself, within your life, to manifest a miracle or embody a trait that you feel you need to embody within yourself at this time. So during Durga, one of the very major Hindu goddesses, I actually had a dream about her and Lakshmi actually several years ago. Yeah, I actually wouldn't mind reading it, Fern. Feel free to like DM it if you want. That's cool. But yeah, I'd love to read it. Like if you feel comfortable sharing, of course. Oh, okay. Yeah, let's take a look at it. Yeah, don't worry, Hyun. We're winding down. I think How About Your Daddy might be. I think he might be a next week reading. So, How About Your Daddy, do not delete yourself from the queue. You'll be the first person like come next week. So, he's free to come back. But yeah, by the way, if anybody's curious about what I'm listening to at this moment, it's pretty nice PS1 jungle mix. So that's the playlist. I imagine that if polymorphism is your trait, if worlds stretch in between the shadows of your fingers, perhaps Symposium's idea of love, 4 arms and legs sharing a soul, would therefore be 100,000 arms and legs sharing a soul amongst a kaleidoscope of fragments of humanity. My lover, a chimera of all creatures, but the wolf that is I, a bodhisattva of infinity, of possibilities conjuring worlds within worlds. I could see why my reading reminded you of that. That is fascinating. Oh. Thanks, Fern. Thanks for sharing that. See, this is why I do this. Like interesting conversations like this. This is what I've been looking forward to. Like, I'm down to even just do, like, chill streams where we just chat like this. I would not mind doing that at all. Anyway, I think I'm gonna wind down for the night, because I gotta do my sadhana for today. Hey, I'm on my second, like, my second bottle right now. What are you talking about? Or are you referring to yourself? Whoops. You should go hydrate, my friend. Go hydrate. What are you doing? But anyway, I'm going to wind down now. I think this is a pretty good time to end. But yeah, I would not mind doing more chill streams. I mean, I've been missing those for a hot minute. I mean, even just like chill streams, just like reading stuff with you guys. I would not mind doing that. Yeah, thanks to Momo's reading, I've actually been like paying more attention to when I need to eat and when I need to like drink. I've been not that I haven't been on top of it already, but I've been even more on top of it. And my dermatologist and my doctors have been really happy with me thanks to being on top of it. Anyway, so I might do some more Sonic Adventure at some point, because clearly people really enjoyed that one, and I'll be sure to cover the other characters too. Also, I'm down to do some more Fall Guys, as well as Dondara. I'll try to share that discipline with you. I also would like to get back to Destiny, Jak and Daxter, Fatal Frame, and Sonic Mania Plus. There's just so many games that I really want to get back to, but I think it's just going to be like a loose rotation because I know eventually I'll get back to these games. Like eventually I got back to Zandara, despite me giving up on it so many times to get to the Trials of Fear. But like this time it feels like, you know what? I'm going to actually finish it this year. So I feel pretty good. So feel free to contribute to your community. Here's some organizations I recommend checking out. The charity for this season is Congressional Black Caucus Foundation, which is going to support current and future Black politicians in the United States. And here's all the social media that you can check out outside of this channel. I've got Blue Sky, I've got Vimeo, I've got Substack. And if you want more intimate readings, like more one-on-one, you can do it two ways. You can check out my Ko-fi page, ko-fi.com/Tonders, where you can donate or shop the stuff that I currently offer, which I currently have a New Year's speech special, which is pay what you want until the Year of the Fire Horse officially starts in about a week and a half. Or if you want something more short and sweet and to the point, check out my Spiritual Blossom page. I go by Windstar Shiner on there. Finally, this episode was from the lands of the Nanticoke and Lenape peoples. To learn more about whose indigenous lands you occupy, as well as maybe you can contribute to the project yourself in some shape or form, visit native-land.ca. So, yeah, that's that's pretty much it. So that's pretty much it for tonight. Thank you so much for making my half birthday and this Nanticoke special so entertaining. Feel free to check out part 1, which was Sonic Adventure, which is a little bit earlier on the video on demand and on my YouTube. If you want to see how that went down, there will be plenty more Sonic this year since it is his 30th birthday. Later on this, I believe, is July. But yeah, we're going to be doing some more Sonic related stuff on this channel, so keep an eye out for that. But until next time, remember freedom is a birthright, not a construct. Remember to drink your water and eat your fruits and veg. And of course, as always, not as always, one more time. One more quote. I feel like one more quote's got to come up. Rebellions are built on hope, and also remember that you are the catalyst for a wonderful, wonderful life for yourself and for others. And of course, as always, may your heart be your guiding key. Till next time, everybody, I will see you later. Thank you so much, everybody. Love y'all. Bye.